What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream 38 and counting, episode 4. This is a post 2 seed show. DH, Declan Hickey, not existent, but still send those gifts. Send those subs. We really appreciate it. Patriots the 2 seed. We are a wagon and wild card next Sunday in Foxborough. Let's go.
We have a lot to talk about here today. Jack Halal, Chuck Larossi, 38 and counting, episode number 4. This starts 2 podcasts a week. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube. And hopefully soon on the iTunes store. I don't know if people even use Apple Music, but we'll be there as well. Jack, without Declan today, me and you, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. It's hard not to be good after clinching the 2 seed, hosting a home playoff wild card game next Sunday night with here's the guy. Looking forward to that. The Patriots are back. I don't know what else to say. They're back.
We have a lot to talk about when it comes to this Dolphins game, along with the Chargers matchup that we predicted, obviously, this past week, because, there's no way in hell Trey Lance is going to lead this Chargers team against the Broncos. At the same time, though, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to what Bo Nix has actually done this season. Maybe later on in the episode when we get into the NFL playoff picture and what it actually is today. Shocking game last night, along with the Steelers miraculously making it into the playoffs. Jack, I will say, before that miss, you have to give Lamar credit on that throw. That was... The drive almost had me saying, wow. Jack's a hater as much as Jack says, oh, don't hate on Josh Allen, he's a player, this and that. Jack hates on Lamar just as much as I hate Josh Allen. Jack, that drive before we get into the Patriots-Dolphins game, because last night was important to the seeding. Whoever won last night plays the Texans.
Yep.
Jack, before that throw to Isaiah Likely to get the first down through 3 defenders, Lamar just did not look right. That drive was weird. He missed DeAndre Hopkins on a little dump off when he was running to the left. He almost took a sack. Giving you the floor now as somebody that dislikes Baltimore and dislikes Lamar Jackson, because obviously as a Patriots fan, and as you stated today, not a homer, but a fan, it was an interesting rage bait today. Even though you're on a show called 30 and counting. As a fan and against the Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, do you think this is it for Lamar in Baltimore or John Harbaugh in Baltimore? Are either of them gone?
It's funny. I don't, just because I feel like even though Lamar at this point of his career is you can kind of consider him injury prone, he's still a superstar. And I think it's hard for a franchise to move on from Lamar. And I think if we haven't seen the Bengals move on from Joe Burrow, we won't see the Ravens move on from Lamar. And the reason I say that is because it's kind of the same situation. They both have their superstar. Obviously, the Bengals have Jamar Chase, but they also have a superstar in Joe Burrow. And I think I think Harbaugh is gone before Lamar. And I think if they bring in a new head coach and it doesn't work with Lamar will sign elsewhere or get traded or whatnot. But I think Harbaugh leaves first, goes somewhere, whether that's he retires or gets another coaching job. I don't know. But I think it's Harbaugh first.
Well, today is NFL Black Monday, as they call it, when it comes to coaching fires. We've seen a couple of them. Pete Carroll earlier this morning. Prior to that, was it Morris for the Falcons? Is it? Am I saying his name right?
Yep.
Okay, so a couple of coaching fires.
Raheem Morris?
Yeah, Raheem Morris. Yeah. He gets fired from Atlanta.
Along with the GM.
Along with the GM as well.
And the CEO just stepped down or something.
Yeah, so, Black Monday, we saw it last year, except we didn't wait till Black Monday to fire Gerard Mayo. We fired him after the Bills game.
Yeah.
So, talking about that, obviously Luke misses the field goal, and now the Steelers will take on the Texans, which we'll get into when we do our NFL playoff predictions. We're going to have a bracket up on the screen. Jack will pick his, I'll pick mine, and Declan will lose out. unless we do it. I mean, we have another show this week. Maybe we'll do it for him then. Okay, Jack. You know, I think this is more of a retrospective look at the Patriots season. If you look back at our episodes earlier in the year, they lost to Las Vegas in week 1, and
Yep.
you're just like, what the fuck is this gonna be? You know, you lose to Las Vegas. Okay, you pick up a win in Miami. It's still a scrappy win. When you look back at that Miami game, I mean, it wasn't like a Patriots win, right? It was like the guy steps out, a kick return touchdown happened that game. Like, it was just a random game. A lot of scoring from a Dolphins team that, quite frankly, is quarterbackless. You know, and now you come only to today, or to yesterday being Sunday. Patriots are 14-3.
Yep.
They won 10 more games than they did last year, obviously, and you know they're the second seed in the playoffs. Before we even get to the Patriots Dolphins game, like retrospectively, this is an unbelievable turnaround, and I think Vrabel should win Coach of the Year. I still think Maye should win the MVP, but at the same time, I think they're going to lean Stafford anyways. But I mean, Vrabel should win Coach of the Year.
I don't think there should be. I think this is a more of a no-brainer discussion than the MVP, and the reason why is because, like, look, the coach for Seattle, who by the way put together a great year.
McDonald.
You know, obviously McDonald. Yes, he brings in Darnold. They're a powerhouse. Obviously, he coaches the team to be a powerhouse defensively, almost number one in every statistical category. He trades for Shaheed, and now this team is looking dangerous, right? So you got to give him credit. Now, they were decent actually last year, not awful. They were decent last year. And I think it's almost hard to not give it to Vrabel. I mean, this is his first year, and this is what he's doing, right? I mean, I think you can argue this, Seattle and Jacksonville. I think they kind of have a better roster, especially on the offensive end, than we do, right? Just let's be honest. I mean, Trevor Lawrence he hasn't been playing great the last couple of years, but they bring in Travis Hunter. He was great. They traded for Jacoby Myers. Now this offense is kind of just lighting the spark. And, good for Cohen, Liam Cohen. But again, I think it really puts in perspective how much of a factor Mike Vrabel was to the Patriots. And I think it should be Mike Vrabel, no question about it.
I mean, you look around the league, right? Ben Johnson took the Bears from, and again, I know you never were a Caleb guy, but that guy has, in my opinion, turned the complete page as a quarterback, 100%. As a leader, as I think his confidence level with Ben Johnson is through the fucking roof. I mean, you look at it from a stats perspective, you look at it from a leadership perspective. I mean, people like to talk about Bo Nix's leadership ability and what they do in crunch time and everything, but to me, I know they just lost to Detroit, but to me, I'm looking at the NFC. It's loaded. It's packed. Before we get into this pack question of Coach of the Year, I think the Bears have a legitimate shot to make a postseason run, just as much as I believe the Patriots will, which we'll get to. But when
sorry, go ahead.
No, but when it comes to the Coach of the Year, I mean, look at the roster, right? Talk about elevating the guys that you have. I mean, you look at the roster last year. It looks different. As much as people say, well, there's a lot of guys here that were here last year. The guys that were here last year, in my opinion, that are still on this roster, like Jalen Hawkins, that has a breakout year at 29 years old as a safety, along with a rookie, and Craig Woodson. Like, that shit wasn't going to happen last year. The coaching staff wasn't going to elevate what they had on the roster. I think the confidence level this Patriots team is playing with going into the playoffs, it's scary for other teams. As much as they want to bring up the cupcake schedule shit, everything, the confidence that this team is playing with, I believe they can match up with anybody and quite frankly win. That's kind of where they're at.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, look, it's funny because my friends and I talk a lot. Oh, strength of schedule. We had one of the easiest schedules, arguably in the history of the game, right? But we kind of handled these wins pretty, determinedly. Like, we kind of just blew these teams out.
Yeah.
So, look, and it's not something you can kind of, punish the team for, because it's not really up to them, right? Like Mike Vrabel isn't saying, all right, coaches, come in here, let's make the easiest schedule possible. That doesn't happen, right? It's something that they get kind of thrown. Here's the schedule, and if you handle it the way you're supposed to handle it, and you blow out the bad teams, and you're looking really good against the bad teams, it really doesn't matter what the strength of schedule is, because you can match up against any sort of caliber of a team. I was watching the 49ers Seattle game the other day. What Seattle's defense did to the 49ers was no other team could do to the 49ers all year long. Am I looking at that game like this Seattle team is nasty? Yes. Am I saying like the Patriots would get blown out by them? No, because I think like they are playing on a level that they're like, we can beat anybody. And honestly, if you play good, I'd rather play really good against bad teams than against good teams. Because if you play good against bad teams, you're going to have the confidence that you could beat anybody. That's just how it is.
I mean, here's how I look at it, right? I mean, Denver has played a very similar schedule to New England. Mm-hmm. Buffalo, Miami, and New York, obviously in the East, they've all played the similar schedule. Buffalo lost to Miami. Like, if the Patriots had one of those, but it was the week 0 of the NFL, being week 1. Did they lose out on the bye because of that? Yeah, they did. But they didn't lose like that again. Like it just didn't happen. It was a week 1 woe. And I think, now for people that talk about the playoffs and what the implications are there, I don't think there's any. I think they're playing with confidence. And I think the guy that's under center, people don't realize if they watch a game of the guy under center, if they fully watch a game, come back and tell me, because they said, oh, look at they're posting highlights where the guy makes those throws week in and week out. That's it. He's had one inconsistent game. One. I mean, the guy the throws that you see where he's just threading the needle, that's a normal Drake Maye throw. That to me, in the playoffs, takes you from fucking 0 to hero. That's how I look at it.
I agree. Like, I don't see any panic with him at all. He's cool, he's calm, he's collected in the pocket, right? He can obviously scramble and run for however many yards, when he needs to. He's starting to slide more, which is good to see. But also he knows that he can make throws on the run. He knows he can make throws if he scrambles out of the pocket. And this kid is he's special. And again, I know the 38 and counting audience by now should know that I was low when we drafted him, but I've eaten my words. This kid is spectacular. And it's awesome to see, right? And he doesn't try, like, he knows his capability. He doesn't try to do too much, if that makes sense. He knows he has a deep ball. He doesn't force it, and if he needs to check down and get the yardage, he will. Drake has obviously said in post-game pressers, I just want to win. I'll do whatever it takes to win. I don't care about my stats. I just want to win. And I think when you have that, there's no hero ball. It's strictly first down, end zone. Let's just win the game.
Patriots went from 27th in EPA this past season to first. I mean, each play. We're going, when we're throwing the ball, it's at least 8.5 yards a pop. I mean, that to me is ridiculous. I mean, that's like, you're literally throwing the ball and you're going to get either a first, like, you're either going to get a 2nd and 2 or a first down every time you throw the ball. Like, statistically. Yep. To me, that's like Josh McDaniels and Drake Maye, what a marriage to put together. I mean, that's a ridiculous marriage. Talking about this Dolphins game now. The first person I want to highlight, I think we're going to start something here going into the playoffs because I think I'm just so confident in how they're going to play. We'll talk about it later, obviously, but I'm going to do Dog of the Week. And my Dog of the Week is Ramondre Stevenson. And I think he deserves a full segment on our show. The last 6 games, he's had 75 plus yards. He's been a mauler. He's been exactly what the Patriots drafted him for. Just a power back, can bounce it out, can catch the ball, is good in passing downs, can block. He had a great game. 131 yards, 7 carries, 2 touchdowns. His long of 55. and receiving touchdown as well. I mean, props to him for not only what I'm happy about is earlier in the season I'm talking about get the guy off the team. That's kind of what we were talking about. Declan was big on Declan was big on keeping him around. I think what it was just seeing Travion, continue to get better. But then I forgot about how important, and Declan came up with the point. And I think at the time when I said, "Oh, we either get this guy out or we figure whatever," I kind of started to agree with Declan because the 2 running back tandem in the NFL is starting to be the thing to do because you got to keep the guys' legs fresh. And I think what Mondre's been doing is keeping Travion fresh because Travion had 2 touchdowns himself yesterday. So props to Mondre for just being a dog. Boomer Sooner, what that guy could be, So, I think that's my dog of the week. Jack, you got someone different?
I honestly don't think I can pick anybody different. I mean, like you said, he's been hearing a lot of loud music from fans all year long, and it's hard to kind of switch into gear and change your play style for the better when that happens, right? Usually when your fan base is against you and you're hearing loud music, you kind of just shut down. But he's rose to the occasion, and I think he's made this team a lot more dangerous than he has. And I think because of that, when we weren't seeing a lot of Henderson earlier in the year and it was more Ramondre, I think he kind of felt like he needed to be like the star running back, and which was why he wasn't playing so well. And I think when we started playing Henderson and he's like, oh my gosh, like this rook can help me out and we can work together. They feed off each other and it's worked brilliantly. And I think, I can't pick anybody else but Ramondre as dog of the week. He's been phenomenal, and teams should start definitely being afraid of him.
Drake Maye, 14 for 18, started a bit slow, but all the passes he made were extremely efficient. Obviously 191 yards and a touchdown. Just threw one. That's cool. Finished the season with 31 touchdowns, 8 picks. Top 3 in every category. For a second-year quarterback, what could you ask for out of Drake Maye, who had an MVP season? And every geek stat, every nerd stat that's out there, he led in. EPA is the biggest one. Everyone talks about EPA. I think it's important too, just being efficient on your pass attempts. If you're number 1 in efficiency, I mean that's a recipe for success. Coach Vrabel at post game, they asked him, what do you kind of pinpoint the success on? He said it's having that guy under center and playing team football. That's, I mean, when you have Drake Maye, people talk about, I think, Drake is the team, but, the defense, as much as people have been kind of down on it, we're going to talk about health. We'll talk about health and how important that's going to be for this run and this upcoming opponent. But Josh Allen, you look at him, he's the whole team for Buffalo. I mean, I know Mitchell Trubisky just ripped the shit out of the Jets, but it's the Jets. But
I could rip the shit out of it.
Put fucking Jack under center. He's going to rip that team in half. But what I'm trying to say is, Allen has to carry the load every which direction, right? And I put that up to the 2 guys that haven't made a Super Bowl yet, and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Lamar obviously just missed the playoffs and that field goal miss, but like both players kind of have to carry the load, right? That the weapons aren't as great. Zay Flowers drops the ball a ton. Khalil Shakir is your number 1 receiver in Buffalo. People pinned it all on Drake this season to say, oh, you don't have the weapons. Oh, you don't. Stephon Diggs, 1,000 yards, the 7th time in his career. There was 4 signings to be made. You whiff on Chris Godwin, you give him the bag, he doesn't want to come here. He gets hurt. Brandon Ayuk, he's seen driving outside the Levi Stadium out in San Francisco. Right? You wanted to trade for that guy. You don't get the guys you want. Towards the end of free agency, you say, you know what, we're gonna take a chance on Stephon. Yes, this whole allegations thing kind of fucked it all up a little bit, and now my point of view of this guy's like, damn, I thought he was like, but the allegations still, but it's tough to have that pinned on you when, in my opinion, Steph's been one of the best leaders this team needed and has in the wide receiver room.
It's pretty remarkable how, to look at this Patriot team, and other than Diggs, who obviously his whole career he's been pretty much a stud, right? He had the Minnesota Miracle in the postseason against the Saints, and then he Obviously, he was traded to the Bills and, was good for a couple of years and then kind of slowed down, had some issues with Allen and his team, got traded again and tore his ACL. Like, look, Diggs, I wouldn't say Diggs is known as a superstar wide receiver. And I think the Patriots are just one of those teams that it doesn't really matter who our receivers are. Drake's just going to put the ball in the right spot, and they're going to make plays. Like, you look at Kyle Williams, who's a rookie. I mean, this kid's fast, right? You give him the ball, and it's scary. You look at DeMario Douglas. Like, you know, you put the ball in the spot that Drake's putting it in, and DeMario is going to make a play. Hunter Henry, Mac Hollins, who is barefoot in 10-degree weather.
Yeah.
Like these aren't superstars. These are just guys making plays, and it starts with the leadership of the team. And we've seen it from Brady, right? I mean, Brady never, other than Randy Moss, they never drafted or traded for an absolute stud receiver. Brady just kind of made it work, and that's kind of what I'm seeing from Drake. And it's cool to see, man. It really is cool to see.
Well, at this point last year, we were talking about what is this offseason going to look like. Now we look to the wild card game coming up with Los Angeles. I think this Patriots-Dolphins game was just kind of the epitome of what this Patriots season has been. It's just when you need to get it done and score points, you get it done and score points. They just put the points up, put up or shut up. That's kind of what Vrabel has been this season. And you see him in post game. He's talking about no naps, right? And I love that. I love that whole thing that they got. Like, Drake, you can't be sleeping. Defense, you can't be sleeping. Like, no naps.
And I loved what he said in the presser, after last night's game. He's, someone asked him about, you got the Chargers, next Sunday here, and he said, we'll get ready for LA, when we're ready. Like, he's just living in the moment, and he's not getting ahead of himself. And he knows what he's doing, obviously. And I love that. I love that about Mike, and I love Mike personally. I always did. I loved him in Tennessee. I think he's just a player coach, meaning, obviously, someone's like, oh, well, yeah, no kidding, he played, but that's not what I mean. I'm saying he connects with the players, just like Will Campbell said. He has a way of connecting with the players that is pretty rare in the National Football League, and that's what you need in a coach. Everyone loves Mike, and they love playing for him, so I'm really looking forward to the future here in New England.
Well, I don't think there's much to say about this Dolphins game. They won 38-10. It was just kind of, you kind of just knew, first half was slow, but man, Quinn Ewers is not it at all. I don't think I ever thought he would be, but he was throwing the ball pretty well. But that whole Miami, I was a big Mike McDaniel guy because he's just such a geek, but he's just not really a leader, to be honest with you. And Quinn looked great when it came to just, running the Mike McDaniel offense. That's very tailored to yards after catch. Throwing the ball out quick, getting the ball out quick, throwing to your right, swing passes, screens. That's kind of all Mike's offense has been. And he looked good then, but then when you had to push the ball downfield, it's like a turnover fucking machine. He just gets sacked every fucking play.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see, what these teams do in the offseason, right? Like, I'm going to be, locked in on the offseason and see what the teams that obviously need help are going to do. Is Ewers going to start now in Miami? Is Mike McDaniel going to be out? Is Tua going to get traded? It's just going to be cool to see.
I think Tua's gone. I don't think he's there. And can you?
I agree.
I think if Tua goes, like Las Vegas would not be a good spot for Tua. It wouldn't. Las Vegas needs a quarterback, but I think they're going to draft a quarterback. I think a place where he can develop a little bit more. Because obviously, I mean, Nick Saban talks about him like he's the guy. And he'll talk about any quarterback like that, but. You never. I know you've never been a Tua guy. I know that.
No,
but but for me though, like, I look at Bryce Young and his resurgence, and I say, okay, maybe there's a little bit something there with Tua, because Bama quarterbacks are not never will be much.
No, and again, look, it kind of shows you how sometimes quarterbacks that go to the best colleges in the country tend to play worse. That's just because it's a lot different, right? I mean, Tua was playing an SEC conference. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the best conferences in college football, if not the best, or it was at the time when he was playing. But college and NFL is completely different, right? And I think it came so easy for those guys at Alabama that they think it's going to be easy for them in the league, and it just doesn't happen.
Moving on to this Chargers-Patriots game. The Chargers scored 3 points against Denver last week, yesterday. I guess you could say last week. And their loss to Denver. They had Trey Lance starting at quarterback. They rested all their starters. I think they took the second to there's been a little bit of discourse on Twitter that's like, oh, they want to play New England. I don't think that's how any team operates in the National Football League. I think it's more important that they want to rest their guys. Jack, I'm waiting for the schedule to come out last night. I'll tell you a little story. I'm waiting for the schedule to come out last night about this wild card weekend. And I'm like, either we play Saturday night or they give us the SNF spot on Sunday. And I'm like, I don't know. Is that really what they give us, that here's a guy spot? And I'm a bit excited, Jack, because we've talked about this on the podcast before. As much as Justin Herbert has played in prime time, he's been good in prime time. I genuinely believe Drake Maye is one of the best primetime quarterbacks. I mean, I know he's 4-0, whatever, but I'm saying just the way he plays when the spotlight is on him.
It's hard to argue against that. I mean, we saw what he did in Buffalo early in the year, and we saw what he did in M&T Bank Stadium, which is a very hostile environment. I mean, two of the hardest places to play in the National Football League. He went in there on a Sunday night and he did it. And obviously being at home on a Sunday night in Foxborough, the atmosphere is going to be tough for the LA, Chargers. With that being said, I think Drake is so comfortable in the spotlight that he feels like it's a normal game. And look, I'm excited. I personally love Collinsworth. I think it's gonna be a masterclass by Collinsworth. Love the way he commentates, and I think he likes Drake Maye a lot. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see. It's always kind of fun to see how these warm climate or dome teams play in this cold climate. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting.
I think Mike Tirico is gonna have another fun day with Drake Maye. He really liked doing play-by-play this past SNF with him, and Mike Tirico is one of Syracuse's best. Love listening to him and watching him. So it's gonna be nice on a Sunday night to sit down and say, "Wow, Gillette Stadium's rocking again, and there's playoffs in Foxborough." I mean, what?
Let me tell you, when that Sunday night song hits, there's just a different mood.
And especially when you're in Foxborough, you're at Gillette.
Day for a Sunday
That's
night.
Right. I fucking hate that song. All right.
I love it.
I like the actual, da-da-da,
the best part of Sunday nights, though, I think we can all
imagine
is come in here, partner. I love that.
Chargers safety Tony Jefferson was asked about Patriots. He said that as soon as he was asked, he quickly jumped to answer and said, "Love it. It's a whole new season, getting ready to get the dub. Hopefully, come back to Denver." I have a problem. I don't have a problem with players being confident. I don't have an issue with that. What I do have a problem with is that the context of him saying that is because he wants to go back to Denver. You have to play New England first. Like, he knows that, right? Like, I don't like that there's another...
What did you say he said this?
Tony Jefferson, the safety on the Chargers. I just think, you can be confident. Be confident. You want to come into New England, get the dub. Be confident. But to me, when another team is on your mind, when you're playing a different team... I remember being a player, low division high school, and if I'm thinking about the next team, we're losing the game. Like, that's just how it felt. But
yeah,
let's talk a little about this game. Justin Herbert, has been kind of touted as the if man, if he did this, if he did that. He's yet to win a playoff game. So we'll see how that goes. This is Drake Maye's first playoff game, his second year in the NFL. Never thought that this would even be a possibility. And now we're here. But I think they've set their sights much further than just winning the first round. So I just think it's going to be nice for them to feel the atmosphere. For me, my keys here, we're going to give a couple keys. I'll do 3, Jack does 3, and then, if we'll work out of that. But my first key, and then we'll go to Jack, is that the Chargers offensive line is absolutely injured to hell. They're, I'd say all pro tackle and Joe Alt not there. They've got a multitude of injuries across the offensive line. And I think what I've seen from, the national standpoint of what people think this game is going to be. They're like, oh, it's a good matchup for the Chargers because the Patriots pass rush isn't great. What I'm saying is they're not going to be able to run the ball against New England. They're not. And the reason being, Robert Spillane's going to be back and healthy. Milton Williams played his first game yesterday, and he got 2 TFLs. A lot of pressure up the middle. I know it was against Cole Strange, one of Belichick's best picks, but, Milton being back, Barmore up the middle, Kyrus Tonga coming back, I think that front is going to give them hell. My first key is the defensive line. I want to be able, when I'm watching the game, I'm not saying first play, but I'm saying when I'm watching the game, I want to say, oh, I can see why they're disrupting the pass. I want to see it. I don't want to be like, oh, where the fuck is the defensive line? I want to see that. My first key is aggression towards the quarterback using defensive line. They're not going to be able to run the ball. So my first key, defensive line against a pretty shitty offensive line. How much pressure can you get on the quarterback?
I think it's a great point. I think my first key of the game is not really the defensive line. I think the defense in general, right? I just want to see a hot start. I want to see a 3-and-out quickly. I don't want to see a tight game at half and then defense finding their groove. I want to see right out the gate, they know what they're doing. They're sending pressure. Safeties are dropping back. Like I want to see them comfortable, and I want to see this defense be the defense they've been all year long, and really put their foot, on the gas pedal to start the game.
My second key is do what you know. Live by it. Live by what you know and what you do on offense. Live by it. I think, Josh McDaniels, if you think if you think he's in his bag yet, wait till you see this motherfucker in the playoffs. I mean, that's how I look. That's how, when I look at Josh McDaniels and people think about him, you think about every moment in the playoffs, every play call, the Edelman to Amendola double pass. Like, situational football is Josh McDaniels on offense. And we know that's what Mike Vrabel is, but if something's not working, go back to the roots. Do what you know. Do what you know what to do. That's how I look at it. Do what you know is my second key offensively.
Yeah, I mean, my second key, I think is just Drake Maye, right? I mean, just make him as comfortable as possible. Don't try to put too much on his plate, which I think the coaching staff knows that they won't. But I'm saying, just as a fan and as a Patriot, believer, like I think it's just let Drake do his thing. Let him find the game. Let the game come to Drake Maye, and just let him be the guy he's been all year long, right? Don't say, hey, it's a you game. Just let him be his own. Let him.
Yeah. For my last and final key, this is how the play. It's one and done. I think mentality. That's my final key. I think Vrabel's, he operates completely differently than Bill Belichick. But I think in the beginning of the week, there's a couple keys to success. And if you hit, and people, and I know especially Jules on Games with Names, shout out Jules, he'll always say, if you hit these keys, and we look at those keys on the board, every time we hit on every key, we won the game, right? And I think Vrabel is the same shit. It's like, every coach has their own way of doing it, right? I think if you just stick to what the coaching staff is giving them, stick to what they know, they come out of that winning. But again, my last key is I think this team needs to remember and understand they're confident, but they need to know it's one and done. You lose and you're out. That's it. That's how the tournament works. That's my last one.
I agree. I think my third key is the mentality as well. Like, look, you might obviously disagree with me, Chuck, being more of a homer to the Patriots, but what I'm going to say is, you kind of just go out there with nothing to lose, right? I mean, you're the 2 seed after a horrific year last year. Nobody thought you would be here this year. Go have fun. Go play your game. Go do your thing. Look, if you lose, yeah, it sucks, but shit, you guys are the 2 seed after being a top 4 pick last year. I mean, build on it, right? Don't get stuck in the moment. Don't be, oh my God, this is the wild card. Like, we gotta win. Go out there and just do your thing, right? You have nothing to lose. Play free.
Listen, when I look at this team, and I know your sights are set like that, I think their sights are set further than just we were bad last year.
I agree.
I think so. And I know you agree, but I'm just putting that out there because they play with a certain just level of physicality. They play, and this team's just getting healthier. We talk about it. Robert Spillane coming back. You talk about Milton Williams getting his first reps. Will Campbell looked great yesterday coming back off of his injury. Thank God he's back. Vidarian Lowe, I give him his flowers. The guy did a great job. He gave up 1 sack. He played for 5 weeks. He tore his labrum last year. He was thrown to the fucking Wolves last year. Did a great job. And also Ben Brown playing left guard these past couple of weeks with Jared Wilson out with the concussion. You get Jared Wilson back this game. You get Will Campbell back in the wild card. Bobby Spillane's looking like he's coming back. Milton Williams, Kyrus Tonga look like he's coming back. Barmore. Look at the secondary. Marcus Jones has been a touchdown machine. Whether it's special teams, whether it's turnovers, whether it's... You look at the safeties as well in the secondaries. Jalen Hawkins and Craig Woodson. They've been well more than serviceable this season as a duo. Both guys out of Cal, by the way. So 2 Cal brothers just in the top of the safety half. I mean, listen, this team's got a lot to play for, and they know they're at home. I'm sure this week of practice is going to be important, but I know up top with John Stretch up there, striker, Belichick's Ernie. He's probably watching tape from the last season's game 10 years ago, trying to pull shit, watching Michigan tape. I'm sure they're just in their bag when it comes to prep, because that's kind of how they've been all year. But again, time will tell. This postseason's huge for the Patriots and just discourse when it comes to the team and how that's going to go. But as it comes to the playoffs and where they stand today, I'm going to, chalk up my prediction pretty early here on this Monday, and we'll see what Declan has to say in the next episode this week. But I'm going to be confident in my team. I'm going to go 28 to 17 Pats.
It's almost like you have a chip in my head and figure out the exact score I'm going to pick.
We were pretty close last week. We said 31-16 or what, and it ended up being 38-10. We got close.
Yeah. No, and I like that prediction a lot. I don't think it's a high scoring game, but I think it's just a confident Patriot win, right? And with that being said, I think I'm going to go 28. I'm going to go 28-13 Patriots.
28-13. I got 28-17. I say, the Pats start out hot. Herbert gets a third quarter touchdown. There might be a little bit in it. Patriots get away with another touchdown. Becomes a 10-point game. That's kind of how I look at this one. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and do our brackets for the playoffs here on 38 and Counting. Here we go, Jackalall, pick 'em. We're gonna start with the. Let's start with the AFC.
Okay. Patriots.
I don't know, Jim.
I'll go Bills.
Okay. I would take, it's fine. I'll change mine up. Okay, Bills.
Texans.
There we go.
Keep going for AFC.
Let's go back NFC now. Wild card round NFC.
I mean,
we barely, on this podcast, we don't cover the NFC much because we're obviously in the AFC, but the only time we will is if the Patriots will go to the Super Bowl. So continue, Jack.
Man.
This is a tough one.
This is tough because the Bears are playing really well, but I feel like they're easily a team that can get upset first round. I'll go Packers.
Packers it is.
And then I'll go Eagles. And then, believe it or not, I have the Panthers.
Wow. All right. Back to the AFC.
Putrid bracket.
Back to the AFC.
Yeah. I got the Bills.
Wow. Over the Broncos?
Yep.
Wow.
I got the Bills, and then I got Patriots.
There we go. NFC.
Yeah, I got Seattle, and I got the Eagles.
All right, AFC, Jack.
All right. I think we have revenge, right? I think it's
in the bag, yeah.
I think Patriots make it to Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara.
All right.
And then I think it's, if history repeats itself, just about 10 years later of Super Bowl 49, I got the Seahawks.
Well, there you go. That's Jack's bracket for this playoff picture. The Seahawks take on the Patriots in, what is it, Santa Clara?
Yep.
Santa Clara. All right. Now,
Levi Stadium.
that's right. Now I shall do mine. This is
Mhm.
my bracket for this season of play. Here we go. All right, we'll start on the AFC side. Obviously, Pat's going to beat the Chargers. I got Jags over Bills. I got Texans over the Steelers. I got Bears over Packers. I got the Eagles over the Niners. I got the Rams over the Panthers. Divisional round. Got the Broncos winning over the Texans. Got the Patriots over the Jags. I got the Seahawks over the Rams. Got the Bears over the Eagles. Caleb Williams takes them to the NFC Championship game. Patriots Broncos at Mile High. Patriots, 10 years later, Super Bowl 50. Yeah, they take this one. Go to Mile High and take that one. One of the hardest places to play. We talk about Drake Maye being able to play in some pretty tough locations. Say he takes on Bo Nix and tells Milo you can fuck off. Now, NFC Championship game. Shout out Milo Barry Young. Love the guy. I'm gonna go Seahawks over the Bears. I think Seahawks Patriots honestly could genuinely happen. That's my bracket. Both me and Jack think the Seahawks Pats are gonna be in the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold takes on Drake Maye in Super Bowl 60. It's just a ridiculous thought, but that's kind of what we have for the bracket. Jack, any specific reasons or anything through this bracket that you decided to pick? Any team specifically that you think, all right, well, they can really get hot in the playoffs?
Yeah. Seattle. And the reason I say that is they're already hot. Don't get me wrong, right? But obviously we saw what happened with Darnold last year in Minnesota. Makes the first round of the playoffs. We know what happened, right? And I think this is a completely different year. I think Darnold's playing better than he did last year, and I think the Minnesota defense last year for Darnold didn't help him at all. And I think this defense in Seattle really puts pressure on the opposing offense that makes Sam Darnold say, I don't need to go out there and score 50 points. I just need to play my game and give it to the guys who are going to make plays and just score points. So I think with that mindset that the defense in Seattle is so good, I think that's a big reason for their run to the Super Bowl. And I think the Patriots kind of just show the AFC like, hey, we're back. And I have a weird feeling that there's going to be a weird upset. Like Josh Allen does his thing in Denver and is like a vintage Josh Allen performance, and then upsets them. That's just weird. That's just what I have a feeling.
I
And then
mean,
obviously they meet us in the AFC title game, and we beat them.
I mean, if you look at if the Patriots are able to host a conference title game against Buffalo, I'm taking New England. I think New England would be favored if they're in a conference championship game in Gillette. But again, I just think the most probable thing is that Jacksonville's hot right now. But at the same time, like I'm taking the Jags right now. But at the same time, Trevor Lawrence has just absolute. Like I know he's been good, but every time I need him, he just doesn't have it. He doesn't give it to me. So it could go either way. Maybe Buffalo takes that one. Maybe they don't. We'll see. We'll kind of see how that one goes. We all we got. We all we need. Episode 4. I think we chalk up Celtics, Red Sox, everything else talk to the next episode this week.
Yep.
Jack, thanks for being here. Declan,
Thanks, man.
we'll see you
Always-
next episode. Jack Halal, Chuck Larossi, 38 and counting, episode 4. We'll see you
Peace.
this week.